It's a beautiful morning at Atlantic Marine in Wrightsville Beach. Today we're headed to Bald Head Island via the Intracoastal Waterway and the Cape Fear River. Wrightsville Beach is about mile marker 284 on the waterway, and we'll follow the waterway south and into the Cape Fear River until the waterway breaks off at Southport. That's about mile marker 309. From there, we'll continue south in the Cape Fear River to the mouth of the river, where we'll see the entrance to Bald Head Island Marina. Okay, before we begin our trip, let's have a little navigation refresher. When you're traveling clockwise around the United States, red is on your right. Another way to remember that is red is on the mainland side of the waterway. So since we're heading south today, red will be on our right or our starboard side, and green markers will be on our left or port side. That all applies until we get to the Cape Fear River. Once we're in the river, a different set of rules will apply. We'll be using the rules of red right return, which means if we're returning from a larger body of water to a smaller body of water, red is on our right. Since we're traveling south or downstream in the river, it's important to remember that red will be on our left side and green will be on our right. Lastly, if in the Cape Fear River we pass any large ocean-going vessels, tugs, barges, or ferries, we need to yield the right-of-way to them. They're larger and less maneuverable than the boats will be in. Also, be cautious of the wake those vessels can throw. Today we're traveling on a Grady White Coastal Explorer 251. This is a great boat for fishing around here, spending a day at the island, or a trip like we're doing today to Bald Head Island. All right, before we head out, let's go over a couple of things. First, I'm up to date on my routine maintenance. I've checked my registration and it's valid. I've got plenty of fuel for the trip down and the return trip. Now I want to check my safety gear. I've got a fire extinguisher. I've got a horn and whistle, although you only need one or the other. I've got a throwable flotation device. I've got a set of flares that's in date, and I've got plenty of life preservers for everyone that's aboard. Lastly, I've got an anchor in the rare case I were to run into any engine trouble, and I've also got a set of binoculars. All right, it's time to head to Bald Head. All right, we're at marker 127. We're getting ready to pull out of the Wrightsville Beach no wake zone and head south in the Intracoastal Waterway. The waterway is fairly well marked here. This is a pretty easy ride until we get to Carolina Beach Inlet, and that's the next place we'll stop, point out a few things to you. All right, we've made it to the Carolina Beach Inlet. This will be red, marker 154. There are several floating can buoys here that mark the waterway, and they move often because the inlet causes this channel in the waterway to shift. You also want to be cautious of heavy jet ski traffic. We'll be riding down another half a mile or so to the turn to go into Snow's Cut, which is also the entrance to the Carolina Beach Basin, and we'll slow down there and talk about that a little bit. All right, we're at the entrance to the Carolina Beach Basin. This is not an official no-wake zone, but it's a good idea to slow down here. There is a fuel dock as well as a boat ramp. All right, once you enter Snow's Cut, there's gonna be a large bridge. You won't have any trouble with clearance there. It's a 65-foot clearance bridge. There's gonna be rocks on either side through part of this channel. The channel also is fairly narrow. So just take it easy through there. There's strong currents, so you wanna maintain enough speed that you have control. And be on the lookout for vessels and people fishing. The channel has a bit of an S-curve here, so you need to remember that, because when you're coming through, it sure looks like red's gonna be on your left. But just remember red on your right and you'll be fine. We're here at marker 162A, right at the entrance to the channel that's going to lead us over into the Cape Fear River channel. We want to be careful here. This is a fairly narrow channel with a pretty sharp left turn to port. And if we follow the markers, we'll be just fine. Just be mindful of those markers and don't stray too far from them here. We're at green, marker 177. This is the last marker in the waterway that we'll see before we enter the main channel here in Cape Fear River. And directly across from the waterway is Sunny Point. And we want to avoid Sunny Point. That's an ocean military terminal. It's guarded 24 hours a day. And if you come in too close, they'll come out and greet you and tell you need to turn around. All right, we're at green marker 27 in the Cape Fear River, and this is a place you want to be cautious of ferry traffic. There's a North Carolina DOT ferry that runs from the end of Highway 421 in Fort Fisher to Highway 211 in Southport. All right, what I want to show you here right behind me is Deep Point Marina. This is where the Bald Head Island passenger ferries would leave from. So if you ever come to Bald Head Island, you're not coming in the boat, this is the marina you'll come out of, hop on that ferry, and it's about a 20-minute ride on that ferry over to the island. All right, we're going to continue on to Southport. We've arrived at red marker number 18 in the Cape Fear River. This is about mile marker 309 on the Intracoastal Waterway, and this is where the Waterway breaks off to the right at Southport. Since we're going to Bald Head, we're going to continue on around to the left and follow the Cape Fear River out as if we were going out in the ocean. Right before we get to the ocean, we'll see the entrance to Bald Head Island off of our port bow, our left side. Looks like we're getting ready to pass one of the Bald Head Island passenger ferries as well. Okay, we're at green marker 13A in the Cape Fear River, right off of the entrance to the Bald Head Island Marina. There's a lot of passenger ferry traffic here in the peak season. Those ferries run every half hour, as well as the barge that carries over vehicles for deliveries, that sort of thing. When you enter the Bald Head Island Marina, once you approach the rocks, you need to be at a no-wake speed. You can announce yourself to the marina on channel 16 on your VHF radio. They'll switch you to a different frequency, and at that point you can learn where your slip is, or you can ask them if you can pull up to the fuel dock and get some fuel, that sort of thing. Bald Head Island Marina, Bald Head Island Marina. This is Carson 16.
Carson 16, this is Bald Head Remote. Let's go to 10.
Channel 10. Bald Head Island Marina, Miss Carson. We're at 25-foot Grady White. Wondering if you had day dockage. Just use for a couple hours.
That's affirmative. Just head up there in front of the big building with the green roof. We're out on the docks, and we'll catch up with you on the backside, if you will. Stay on the flagpole side.
All right, we've made it to the Bald Head Island Marina. It's time to rent a golf cart and explore the island.